For more than 180 years, Cunard has operated some of the most iconic ocean liners in maritime history. These ships are symbols of elegance, engineering strength, and the golden age of transatlantic travel. But even the most advanced vessels cannot escape the power of the world's oceans. Over the decades, Cunard liners have repeatedly found themselves facing extreme weather, from winter storms in the North Atlantic to tropical cyclones in the Pacific. Today, we will look at 5 real incidents where Cunard ships encountered severe storms, powerful winds, or dangerous conditions at sea and in port. These events remind us that behind the glamour of ocean travel lies a constant battle with nature. On 12th January 2004, the world's largest and most technologically advanced ocean liner, Queen Mary II, set out on her maiden transatlantic voyage from Southampton, England. This wasn't just another cruise. It was the revival of a legendary era of ocean travel. On board were 2,600 passengers and 1,250 crew members, including journalists, VIP guests, and those who paid premium prices to be part of maritime history. Stretching 345 meters in length and rising 21 decks high, the ship represented unmatched modern luxury. But the North Atlantic wasted no time in testing the new liner. Within the first 48 hours at sea, Queen Mary II sailed directly into a powerful winter storm. Waves reached nearly 30 feet, while winds blew at force 10 on the Beaufort scale, with gusts up to 63 miles per hour. Many passengers remained in their cabins. Seasickness spread, and the ship rolled noticeably as enormous waves smashed against the bow. However, QM2 was built exactly for conditions like these. Her hull contains 40% more steel than a typical cruise ship, and her massive Rolls-Royce stabilizers reduced most of the rolling. After the storm passed, the ship encountered thick fog, slowing her progress. Yet the crew recovered the lost time. On the 16th of January 2004, just after 8 a.m., Queen Mary II emerged from the morning mist near the Statue of Liberty, sounding 4 deep blasts of her horn. Fireboats sprayed red, white, and blue water, helicopters circled overhead, and small vessels escorted her past the Verrazano Narrows Bridge with less than 20 feet of clearance. Thousands watched from Manhattan as the new flagship completed her dramatic first crossing. In January 2011, during her early years of service, MS Queen Elizabeth encountered one of the strongest winter storms of the North Atlantic, while operating the westbound transatlantic voyage Q102, New York, Southampton. A few days after leaving New York, the ship was deep in the open ocean, the region where some of the fiercest winter cyclones develop. In mid-Atlantic, the liner was struck by a force 10 to 11 storm, bringing winds nearing hurricane strength and waves estimated at 10 to 14 meters. Video recorded by a passenger shows massive walls of water crashing over the bow, with waves momentarily covering observation windows on lower decks. One sideways wave appears significantly larger than the rest. Not confirmed as a rogue wave, but strikingly powerful. The crew activated storm protocols, closing exterior decks and restricting access to forward areas. Despite the violent conditions, the Vista-class ship suffered no damage and continued safely towards Southampton once the storm front passed. On 31st March 2014, during the final stages of a 94-day world cruise, Queen Victoria experienced a dangerous incident caused by violent weather while docked in San Francisco. The world cruise had carried the ship from Fort Lauderdale through the Caribbean, along the coast of South America, around Cape Horn, then across the Pacific, including Easter Island, Pitcairn, Tahiti, Fiji, New Caledonia, Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, American Samoa, and Hawaii, before arriving in California. At around 1 p.m. local time, port authorities received an emergency alert. Queen Victoria was breaking away from her moorings. A severe storm sweeping across the Bay Area caused mooring lines to snap under heavy strain. One by one, the lines tore loose, even ripping attachment points from the ship's hull and leaving visible damage. The vessel remained in San Francisco from 31st March to 1st April for a scheduled stop. But poor weather turned this visit into one of the most dangerous moments of the entire voyage. Thanks to a quick response from port personnel and the ship's officers, the incident was contained without injuries. Repairs were completed, and the ship continued her world cruise as planned. On the 4th of August 2023, Queen Mary II was briefly blown away from the pier in the port of Civitavecchia, Rome, due to unexpectedly strong winds. Despite preparations for bad weather, a sudden gust was powerful enough to pull the ocean liner away from her moorings, causing a short delay before departure. No injuries were reported, but the event highlighted how even a ship designed for the harsh North Atlantic can be affected by coastal wind conditions. Throughout the day, the region was hit by heavy rain and thunderstorms, with gusts recorded between 24 and 28 miles per hour. At the time, QM2 was sailing a 28-day Mediterranean itinerary from New York to Southampton, Spain, France, Italy, Portugal, and back to New York. The incident occurred shortly after a similar situation, where Norwegian Prima was blown off her moorings in Belgium, also due to strong crosswinds. The newest Cunard ship, Queen Anne, launched in 2024, encountered her first major weather challenge during the early stages of her inaugural world cruise. The liner had sailed from Southampton across the Atlantic to the United States, then through the Panama Canal into the Pacific, visiting Tahiti, Fiji, and New Zealand, before heading toward Australia. While traveling along Australia's east coast between Brisbane and Airlie Beach, Whitsundays, the ship entered a developing storm zone. Meteorologists were tracking a forming tropical cyclone named Alfred in the Coral Sea. Forecasts predicted high winds, elevated sea levels, and waves exceeding 5 to 6 meters. To avoid the cyclone's core, the captain canceled the stop in Brisbane and rerouted the ship northward toward Airlie Beach. Even at a safe distance, passengers felt the effects: stronger winds, rough seas, and temporary closures of several outdoor deck areas. Queen Anne sustained no damage and continued her route towards Southeast Asia, the Indian Ocean, around the Cape of Good Hope, and finally back to Southampton. Queen Mary II is not a typical cruise ship. She is a true ocean liner, purpose-built for the brutal winter storms of the North Atlantic. Her reinforced hull, deep draft, and powerful stabilizers allow her to face weather that ordinary cruise ships avoid entirely. But that is a story for the next video.